I think I've enjoyed the entire weekend. I don't really have a specific moment where I can say this has been the highlight, and it was nice to have a little break.
Getting ice cream with my family.
And taking advantage of the situation that we had this little getaway, we decided to film the podcast.
I enjoyed swimming with my sister.
Yeah, she's like every moment that Ismael was not around.
I swam like the first day that we got here, and I felt alone because like they were just chilling, watching me swim.
I don't know why. I think it's because I'm tall, but looking at the pool, it was only like 3 feet.
I think it was the most
5 feet.
I just thought it was weird because I remember trying to swim in a shallow area, and my stomach is basically like scratching the ground. Try to do this, and like my hands hit the bottom. That didn't happen to you around 3 feet? And so the majority of the pool is like 3 feet, and there's this middle section. There's tall people problems, okay? Yeah, I'm too big for that pool. And so like if you stand up, like I can literally just walk throughout the pool. And
Is that why you didn't get in?
yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the cookies pop up on your websites? Accept the cookie, deny the cookie.
Oh yeah. Every time you go on a website, yes, I always exit out. Like, oh, this website has cookies. I can't be here. I'm gonna get diabetes.
Now who's being corny? The definition of the cookies are small bits of data a website stores in your browser. But you know what I was reading is that even if you don't deny them or accept them or just put the exit button, they still do their thing, their job.
But even if you don't accept them,
They're still
you still get
doing
cookies?
their work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So their purpose is to remember your activity and you, like a digital notepad. Examples of the way that they could remember you is your login in status, so you don't have to log in every time. And then items in your shopping cart, that's why whenever you open, they're still there on the website, whatever you're gonna buy. And then your language or theme preferences, what pages you visited. The third-party cookies is created by other companies whose content appears on the sites like ads, social media, widgets, or analytic tools. So you know how whenever you guys go on Instagram and you're like, what the heck, I just was seeing this on the website, I was thinking about buying it. Well, that's why you see it, because they control their ads to go to the pages that you visit or like apps that you visit.
Who knew cookies were so troublesome?
Wait, but that's why whenever you guys see it, you guys are like, oh, this is so creepy. Haven't you thought that it was creepy whenever you guys see these ads?
No, because I already knew that you're being tracked on the internet. So every time that you have those pop-ups coming up, you do have the option to deny them, but like you said, it would only deny certain ones, like sharing your information to some other source, and then the rest of the information stays within the website. So if you make if you shop for something and you leave it in your cart and you had put like deny certain cookies, you come back, it still shows up on the cart. And that's because that website is tracking your activity regardless. So that's why a lot of people sometimes don't like technology, because it tracks your activity and you don't really have a sense of privacy. I mean, it's also cool because it knows you very well.
Yeah, it improves the user experience.
You don't really have to think anymore. You can it's customized to what you want to search and what you want. But at the same time, it just depends on your preferences. But for the majority of the population, I think it makes life easier, especially if you have to work or do other things and you don't have time to like remember what you were doing, or maybe you don't remember the site you were in. You could just go through your history, but also check other things.
The one I found weird was, this happened a couple times, and I know this because I never consume this type of content, and so it kind of throws me off that I would see this type of ad. When I was talking about monsters to Joselyn, or one of you two, I forget, a while ago, just like verbally. I didn't search, I didn't say anything. I was like, Oh, there's that moment, that period where I was drinking Monsters and I would go to 7-Eleven, just speaking about it, and I started getting ads on Instagram related to Monster, and I was like, what the heck? They're listening.
Yeah, they could probably be listening to
Yeah,
us.
so the searching one, it makes sense, but the audio one kind of throws me off.
What I read was that it could actually also track your location. So wherever we go.
Talking about location, did y'all see the new Instagram update where now
Oh, yeah.
you can show everybody where you are on the maps, kind of like Snapchat?
I think the concept is cool, but in practice, I don't think it works.
I think they should allow it so that if you post a picture and you want to share your location at that moment in time, it should be allowed if you want to share it, but then it shouldn't track everywhere you go live. So like if I have it on right now, everybody would know that I'm here. But if I just wanted to show that I'm at the beach at that particular moment and I post a story, I wouldn't mind sometimes being able to do that. And I think a lot of people wouldn't mind that. Or maybe it would work better for like people who are influencers or celebrities who are doing meet and greets. They would actually want people to know where they're at during those situations. But for like the average person, I feel like it could be a little dangerous.
Yeah,
Because we don't really walk around with security.
It could be dangerous. Open yourself to stalkers. But that's what I was going to say. I think it's better for business. Because, you know, like in our industry, what if we just do pop-ups? And instead of posting the address, like you just post your location and people have access to it.
Yeah. The reason that Ismael says that sometimes like it was creepy that his phone heard the conversation and then targeted an ad on that, that's because when you have your apps, there's certain functions in your settings that you have turned on and that you don't turn off when you update it. So when you update it, all the apps are like kind of resetted. So if you're not paying attention to the updates, eventually there's going to be an update that is new, like kind of like allowing AI to gather all your information so that they could share it to whoever is creating AI and improve the user experience. And sometimes they make it also public. So the thing is that when you don't look through your settings and you don't understand or you don't pay attention to these advancements, then you put yourself at risk for sharing data that maybe you don't want to share. So my experience with that was the Dr. Squash soaps, but I didn't speak about it, I guess because we were in the same vicinity or something. I started getting ads on that.
You know how so it works? Our phones communicate with each other. Those ads would be targeted to you. Because maybe, I think I purchased them at some point. And potentially it's like, oh, this person can give it to them for their birthday or something. And they have access to that information. So if you guys start getting ads that are tailored for me around this time, because my birthday's coming up, it could potentially be because our phones are communicating with each other.
That's crazy.
I just think it's cool. It improves, like I said earlier, the user experience. The algorithm really is getting so much smarter to the point where it's going to become harder and harder for us not to be glued to our screens even more. This new generation is going to spend a ridiculous amount of time on a screen, and apparently like something that we know is that increases the chance of depression. And so more screen time, higher rates of depression, and the most medicated generation is the ones that are being born. I don't know if that's just like the older people demonizing the future, which is something that always happens. If you look back in the day when the radio was like the dominant source of media and then the television started coming on, people are always pessimistic of the future and stuff. We'll see how it ends up playing out.
I honestly love technology and I wish they put it into our stores already, like our buildings, our hotels and all. I would like to see that and have more security, more safety, because there's been robberies, but like it'll be harder for somebody to rob a store with technology.
I don't like having a lot of technology in shopping centers and in stores. The reason being is because every time I go to Walmart now, every time I want something, everything's locked up. And then if I want, for example, to get like a cleanser for my face or a deodorant, I have to wait for some employee to come who doesn't want to open it up.
Well, to
And
her
then
point, that's because of the lack of technology.
No, they have cameras there.
No, but
They have cameras. There's been stores
yeah,
where I've been.
but her
Listen,
point.
there's been stores where I've been where you could grab the product and it knows, and it like Amazon was doing this, where you go to their store and you don't even need to have anybody help you or check you out because your card is already registered at the moment you walk in, and so everything you put in your shopping cart, it scans and it goes. But the thing is, I just feel like you're always just being watched, and it's just creepy.
To Lito's point, she's saying that with the help of technology, there wouldn't be a need for all that.
Yeah.
Because the second they walk out through their door, all of that is going to get charged. I mean,
Well, the point is that it's just controlling. Like, then it's going to become to eventually they're going to say, you know what? If you don't have this advancement, you can't shop here. Or if you don't use this, you can't shop here. And so you start discriminating and eventually alienating a population that maybe doesn't want to go that direction. So like the Amish, they don't use a lot of technological advancements, and it has to do with their culture, their religion, things like that. There's a lot of people in Christianity who don't want to do the whole chip situation. Yeah. Because of the 666 and the mark of the beast. Whether these are just conspiracies or whether it's true, it just goes back to the simple as when In-N-Out was trying to be enforced that you can only do service to people who are vaccinated. How about if you don't want to get vaccinated? That should be up to you to decide whether you want to. What I'm trying to say is that there should be free will. I feel like with these advancements, we're getting away from that, and especially also creativity, and it's going to be more of a controlled situation.
No, because it is a free market, so businesses are allowed to do whatever they want. If there's going to be businesses that tailor to the older generation or people who just don't really care too much for the technology. To this day, there's so many businesses that don't even accept credit cards. So that's something that's always going to exist. Technology is there, it's available to improve and make your life easier. Obviously, it can be used in a negative way, but for the most part, it's going to push society forward, in my opinion.
Yeah. I love technology, so I wouldn't mind. I don't see it as being controlled in any way. I think it's growing. I've seen other people out there who already have like 7-Elevens with technology, and you just pay, like there's nobody in the register, and women feel safe to go out to 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. to get some cup of noodles because of the technology in that village. I forgot where. I don't know where it is. Like, wouldn't you feel safe? I don't know.
Joselyn wants to be Amish.
Do you guys know the company Skims, owned by Kim Kardashian?
I do not.
Would you ever buy from her?
No offense.
She recently came out with this face shapewear, and I think it's ridiculous. Basically, it's what your guys' opinion about the faja, where it just shapes you for a little while, and then boom, you're back to being your normal body. It's the same thing for the double chin that she came out with. So you wear that overnight, and when you wake up, you're supposed to have a sculpted face and no double chin. And you're supposed to wear it consistently. And I don't know if she promotes working out, but yeah, supposedly it'll work. And guess how much that product is?
How much?
$48 plus shipping, probably like $50. Everybody on the internet was saying that it was ridiculous. Don't waste your money. But here's the thing. I saw all of these people saying that. Why in the heck in the world were they sold out?
Yeah, it makes sense because, I mean, people always look for shortcuts. Short-term results, little effort for quick results. That's why like BBLs is something that is extremely popular as opposed to going to the gym, hitting the weights and dieting. Because really the whole face thing, all you have to do is lose body fat.
The reason I don't buy Skims is I'm not the targeted demographic. First of all, I don't use shapewear as much. Second of all, I know and I've understood that aging is going to be part of the process of being human. And if I wanted to do enhancements, all of those are like additional and invasive. So Ismael mentioned the BBL. getting a BBL, nobody speaks about how painful it is and how you have to prep leading up to it, and also how you have to prep after, like the care.
Have you had a BBL?
No, but I've seen it.
You just said that no one ever talks about it, so how do you know?
Nobody talks about it because Tiquelito, I saw his
I think
videos.
everyone talks about it.
No, nobody talks about the negative effects of the BBL. And then they also say Ismael.
Or I guess they
started speaking
glorify
about
it without saying all the cons.
You can't sit for more than 2 weeks.
They show the pain process.
And you have to let it heal. And aside from that, it's kind of like a lot of women already have to deal with C-sections and things like that. And C-sections are also painful. So it's like, why add some more pain to it? And I understand that maybe with the BBL, you have more control of how big you want your ass to be. But anyways, that's not the topic. And at the gym, you can't grow it to an extreme, super dunked up from the back. So I understand that. But also, like, the Skims, maybe it's all marketing. Like, maybe she didn't sell out.
I feel like if I get a BBL, no one would notice.
I think you would notice. But like the whole chin thing, the whole chin situation.
I got nothing back there. I'd be sitting on my spine.
The whole chin situation, in order to fix that, you would need to also get surgeries. Sometimes they're expensive, so people just would rather pay the $40, $50 and just put it on. But all those are temporary solutions. And the same thing with Botox. Like, people just have to accept that they're gonna age regardless, and it's part of being a human.
Yeah, doctors who are surgeons were saying that it's only temporary and don't waste your money.
Sometimes people want that temporary thing, and imagine like an influencer, they put it on right before they go on camera.
Just put tape.
You know what they do? I've seen. You know what's crazy? I just know for a fact Kim Kardashian, or the CEO of this Skims company, stole this idea because this idea was already out. Like, somebody already came up with this idea. And you know why I know? Is because I watched Get Ready With Me by a bunch of people who pop up on my For You, because that's what I like to watch, because I like to see ideas, I guess. And most of these girls, they wake up, they're like, get ready with me to go to school, and it shows them with the bonnet, them with the face thing, the shapewear, but it's a different brand, keep in mind. And then with like tinted lips, because that's what they do, they outline it, and a face mask. So it's already been out, so I think that's really crazy that companies, big companies, they take advantage.
How would you guys feel if I dated someone with BBL and is crazy about all that stuff?
I'll be mad at you. I'll slap the out of you. I'm just kidding. I would kick the girl out. I wouldn't let you.
That's your choice. You're gonna deal with upkeeping her because, you know, she's recycled. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
She's recyclable.
She has to go through the process multiple times. I'm just kidding. So you have to upkeep maintenance. No,
so do you guys ever think?
No, but you're gonna get a lot of backlash. Everybody in your family is gonna be like, "Oh, she has fake ass,"
Let me say something.
or things like that. So it's up to you. That's the kind of person you want. But just know that people are always gonna be looking, especially if she dresses a specific way. She's gonna be the attention grabber.
Do you guys think a BBL ever looks good on a woman?
I don't think so, because you just look too much. Like, even girls that do it younger, I've seen a influencer, and she's like my age. There's 2 influencers, by the way, that I watched, and they're around my age or younger. And they have BBLs, and it just looks horrible. Like, with them, it just looks like they did it. Like, you know, like, you could see it's fake. Or you could see something's going on down there that doesn't look right. Like, what I've seen is that the back is good, right? But then in the front, it looks weird. Like, right here. It doesn't look normal. So, I don't know why people do it. And then I've seen other influencers that are much older, I don't know, like in their 26 or above, and they have a BBL and they had a baby, and it just look like they're like thin but big down there, and it just looks odd, and like they get really so much hate, and I mean, it just looks odd. Like it doesn't look natural to me. Supposedly the BBL leaves a smell because the doctors or the surgeons don't close the hole down there. So are you prepared for that, brother?
No, absolutely not. I don't think I would date someone with a BBL.
The thing is, sometimes you might not know, depending, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people nowadays are getting an enhancement, especially like lip fillers and certain things to enhance their appearance. And if they do it lightly or they start lightly, I don't think you could really tell.
I was about to say something.
Unless I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I would feel like maybe if you study it or some things, like if you are able to touch it, maybe you'll be able to tell. But if just by visually, I feel like it's a little more challenging. And I think the only time that I've seen somebody sculpted really good, and I don't know if it was also due to like genetics or because they were hitting the gym. But remember one time we would go to the gym and there was this guy who just looked like a woman.
Oh yeah.
There was this time where I used to go to the gym and there was this guy who just looked like she looked like a woman.
She fooled me, let me tell you.
I thought she was a woman. And the thing is, it was during the pandemic, so he would wear a mask. And so you couldn't really, like, I thought it was a woman. I would always see everybody checking her out. And then one time I saw that it wasn't a woman. And that was the only time that I've been like amazed at the body, because it was like perfection. Like the kind of hourglass figure a woman would want if she had to pick. And
yeah, I was gonna
I
say
don't know
that.
if that was
I
genetics.
think over time, surgeries are gonna get better, and they're gonna get better at being able to sculpt a person's body. But I would say the majority of women, the BBL doesn't look appealing. There are some that pull it off, and like you said, I think it's a combination of genetics, their body structure, how it is, and just adding that extra volume back there, and gym, like going to the gym and making sure that your muscles and your legs are toned, and your back is widened, so it gives that hourglass figure. But in most cases, most women, in my opinion, it doesn't look appealing. When it comes to dating, like, I don't really judge a person. Like, if you find value in those things, then by all means do what makes you happy. Like, I always look at long term. I date with purpose, and I want to find a woman that I can marry and raise my kids. And I can't imagine, or I don't want to be in a situation where I pick a woman that thinks it's okay to alter their figure because of whatever not aesthetically pleasing attributes that they may have. Like, I always think that whenever you find imperfections in a chick, that's what like makes them more beautiful in my eyes. And so, like, imagine my future daughter having those same imperfections. What is she gonna teach my daughter? Like, is she gonna teach her that it's okay for you to do cosmetic surgery and change things up? Like, and if she has that conversation with her, but she encourages her not to do it, how can she do that when she herself did it? For me, like, it's always like a no. Like, you want to change your lips, you want to do all those things. Like, I don't think you're the woman for me.
Would you guys ever purchase something to sculpt your face, your body, your nose? No, I'm just kidding. Anything. Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious if you're going to do that. Because I would. I was scrolling on Shein and I wanted to buy like a gym bag or something. But as I was scrolling, tell me why I saw a fake Social Security card for 40 cents.
What the heck?
Are you sure it wasn't a wallet?
Oh, I'm sure. Because
It's 40 cents.
yeah. And I basically did some research, and basically people just buy it to fake their Social Security number or to put inside wallets, purses, or ID holders. I don't know why. Like theater cosplay. they could probably use it for?
I have no idea.
Cosplay to me is when people dress up and pretend to be other things or
So what would you use?
characters, personas.
The only thing I can imagine is like acting for like a movie. And there's just a scene where they're opening up a bank account or something, but I think it's such an unnecessary detail.
Maybe people are just using it just cause, like if they find their wallet, they have that, and
It's gonna like
it's fake.
Yeah, whenever they do that, they always say ID please, or passport, and they always hand something, but they never show exactly what's being handed. Oh, the only time the passports when they're making fake passports, I guess that's the only time they show it. So now they can show the fake passport and the social security. So here's your fake passport, here's your social security card. I guess it could work for movie scenes, but outside of that, it's just like a troll. And it's a very inexpensive troll.
Yeah,
Like
do you
40
think
cents.
it could be dangerous to our world?
Plus shipping and handling.
You know what I heard? I don't know by where, but I know it was from TikTok. I don't know if it's true. But supposedly there's a dark web, where our social security's numbers, our real ones, are there for the whole world. And so that's why I'm asking, do you think it's dangerous?
Dangerous
Well, a
for
couple
Shein.
months ago, the Social Security, there was a bunch of them that were leaked, and it was because of cyber attacks. So
What
they
company
were
was
telling
it?
us, well, AT&T was part of it. Big names, I forget exactly who, but I even think like some of the email servers, and that's why they were saying that during that time, there's a lot of videos on my For You page talking about freezing your credit in case that information was also gathered by these attackers, and so it's a real thing. I think the breaching of information, it happens pretty quite often every couple of years, and companies are supposedly taking steps to improving that, and so that it doesn't happen, and that your documents and information are safe. But the only way to prevent that is not having them online. That's like if you 100% want to be sure. But when you apply to get credit cards, you're putting your social security number, so you just have to be aware, I guess, of the activities. So if you see if you see activities happening in your accounts that are unusual, then it's time for you to like freeze things or change things up. You said if it was concerning like the Shein. Well, the only thing for Shein is I feel like they would use it for fraud, like if people have bad intentions. And then the people using it for cosplay, they're just dressing up as characters and they find enjoyment in
How
that.
are they going to use it for fraud?
Well, for example, right now with the whole immigration situation, like if people just order a bunch of social security cards and then just put them in their wallet, and I don't know.
Legal, I guess.
And then if for some reason they get stopped and then they just show that like superficially and they don't
Can you type your name
scan it, probably
on the 40-cent social security
card. But in general, it's very challenging for you to be able to purchase something from Shein and it be like looking 100% legit, I would say. And
Oh, so I guess they can just print it. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, you could just print it. See, like it just depends. Because if it's just a superficial scan and they're not really inputting the information, you can get away with it. And then usually for a lot of these things, if it's just numbers that are randomly generated and they just input it, something's gonna pop up and it's probably not gonna match. So at the end of the day, it would just depend. Like,
Dito's the type to put a real social on it.
comment down below if you think that it's problematic for Shein to be selling these. Do you guys look forward to controlling your iPad or your iOS devices with your brain without having to use your hands and just think, and you are able to use your technological devices?
I would have to see others test it out. The reason why is because every time I look into the new iOS updates, there's always a glitch. and I hate them. Like, it breaks my device. Like, it makes me feel like I'm breaking my device because I'm trying out these new iOSs. So I need to make sure that it won't break my brain. Like, it won't glitch my brain is what I'm trying to say, because that's very science. That's very, I don't know, Jocelyn. Like, do they tell you how it works? Like would it glitch? Will it glitch? Like,
It's gonna break your brain.
yes.
Just gonna grab it.
I need to see it getting tested on others, and if it works, then maybe I'll give it a try. Because if you're paying for this, I need to know that it works 100%, not 90%.
I definitely would love to do that, and I think humans are gonna have to. Some form of symbiosis is needed, especially with the whole advancement of AI. Just because AI, they're just gonna become way of potentially dangerous dominant force in our society, right? And so you need to have someone, humans need to be able to somehow be in par with intelligence and ability. And so some form of symbiosis is needed in order to be able to match up with AI. And so whenever your brain is able to communicate with devices, it puts your intelligence at an entirely different level. So essentially, to make a better comparison, think of it, life and human experience currently is like a razor flip phone. If you were able to communicate with technology, with your brain, life experience would be like the newest iPhone. Does that make sense? In terms of ability. A flip phone, you can't really do much, but with iPhone, you can take over the world. Right? You have access to all kinds of information and ability, and you can connect and communicate with other individuals, whereas you're extremely limited with a flip phone. And I think whether or not we like it or not, eventually humans are gonna have to be literally connected with devices.
You're okay with having something inside of you in order for that to be the process?
I don't think it's something that,
yeah, because
like, it doesn't matter if I'm okay with it or not. I think humans are gonna have to do it out of necessity. And even if we have like a military force that has that, like, I'm telling you, like, it's gonna have to happen.
Or maybe it's already happening.
Just like imagine like you right now. We're having this conversation.
You wouldn't need that.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
but I like having my notes. It makes me feel
so,
productive.
You ever
to be
see?
able, I like write because I've realized that for some time I stopped practicing my handwriting. I stopped practicing spelling, and I have a lot of misspellings now. And so lately,
You wouldn't have misspellings.
yeah, but no, like lately I've been practicing again, and I want to say that I'm getting better at writing. But like, for example, one time I applied for a job and I had to do a writing test. I didn't write anything. I just walked out. Yeah.
You walked out?
I had to, like, an hour or so. I mean, I just stood there and I looked at the paper and I'm like, I hate hypothetical situations. I just didn't know what to write. I blanked out.
That's crazy to me. Like, I'd be like,
And then I started writing about Fernando's catering.
oh, hell no. Let me guess, you didn't get a call.
No. At least to me, at least for me, tests that they were catering at a party and then a fire broke.
She's like, let me take this opportunity to create an ad for our business. I don't even know why I'm applying to this job. I don't even want it.
Jocelyn,
No,
that's how you know her heart is here.
My point is that when I was supposed to write the story, I kind of blanked out, and it was because I had not been practicing my writing at that time. I asked the question whether I would want to be able to control my iOS device with my brain, and to me, I'm on the fence on that. I'm leaning more towards no, but I understand why it's the direction the society is probably going to end up taking. The companies Synchron and Apple are collaborating on a brain-computer interface, BCI, technology specifically for accessibility on Apple devices. In 2019, Synchron became the first BCI company to begin clinical testing of a permanently implantable system. Via the blood vessels, a device will be implanted to avoid invasive brain surgery. This helps people with ALS, stroke, or spinal cord injury. So people who have trouble with mobility. Mark Johnson, He is participating in clinical trials. He received the Synchron Stentrode BCI implant in August 2023. He has ALS and he is not able to move as much anymore. So they basically, from my understanding, they inject the implant through the neck into like a blood vessel, and then they're able to move it closer to the brain so that they don't have to perform open brain surgery. And that device is able to gather sensors from the brain, and when the person thinks about moving certain things on the iPad or iOS system, they're able to do so they could now send messages, make phone calls, watch things, write things by just communicating with their brain or their thoughts and the iOS device. So there's like I think at least 2 to 3 cases that are clinical trials undergoing through this. And I mean, I think it's pretty cool advancement because it's going to definitely help improve the people who sadly are impaired, paralyzed, can't move, and they don't have to rely a lot on other people to be able to do something as simple as sending a message to a loved one. And he decided to submit himself to this clinical trial because he knows that he's going to pass away sometime, and he just wanted to donate the rest of his life to science. And
yeah, no, that helps humans tremendously.
So
Appreciate the service. Thank you so much.
people are a little concerned about privacy, or just in general of,
Girl, we got no privacy in this world now.
well, it's kind of pretty invasive. Regardless, even if they just add it to through the blood vessel, I still think it's pretty invasive because it's something that is there, and I don't know. I guess this is why it's going through these clinical trials. But like, if you want to remove it, is that ever a possibility? Because it is in your blood vessel.
I don't think you would want to.
So I definitely see the benefits of using this technology to improve the quality of lives of people with impairments, but it is a little scary to me. And I feel like invasive.
I recently ran into a social media post on TikTok where some lady claims that she has $650,000 in student debt.
Ouch.
And she got it through dental school, so she's a dentist. That education is notoriously known for being extremely expensive. Thoughts on student loans? Do you think they're worth it? Do you think it's something that people should acquire in order to get an education? The way this lady described it, she said if she knew everything that happened and she would somehow be able to go back in time, she would do it all over again because she loves her job. And she's passionate about the dental work, and she wouldn't change a thing.
The ones that she got, are those gonna keep going up because of her interest?
Yeah, all of them do. You can't borrow money without interest.
She's gonna be in debt her whole life, her whole career, once she goes into the dental.
Potentially. It depends on her spending habits. The problem is, like, a lot of people in their situation would start upgrading their lifestyle, but she can live modestly. When you're a dentist, you have a high income, and if you open your own practice, different story. So her earning potential is really high, and then she's doing something that she likes.
I wouldn't want to pay for my whole career after college, especially that amount.
I think it depends on the profession. Talking from experience, if you're going into the science field or anything that requires higher education, I feel like it is a little bit more worth taking these loans out. But you should be cautious because I don't feel like they do enough teaching on this situation, especially for underserved communities and first generation students. They kind of just say, oh, go to college. And sometimes there are scholarships, but it's never really 100% enough, and only like the top 1% of your high school's population gets the benefits of a full ride. I feel like they should be having more education, at least in high school, about managing money, loans, the positive, because sometimes being in debt and getting money, if it's an investment, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, if you're going into the medical field, if you're passionate for that, or even engineering, those are going to be professions that are going to be paid well. But then if you're doing like humanities or any of the arts major, it is a little more challenging for you to be taking out loans because those jobs are compensated well, because a lot of people want to do them. And they're also, especially if you're going into like journalism as well, you have to see, because they say it's a dying career since technology, but it's been adapting so far. With the cell phones, people use those now, and influencers out there making more money, and they don't really have to go to journalism school anymore. So I think it depends on the career.
So ZipRecruiter estimates that a dentist makes anywhere from $65,000 to $300,000 a year, and the median salary being $166,000. But let's just say it's 200 grand. It requires 8 years to become a dentist, and assuming it takes you 4 years for undergrad, I think a lot of people do 5. All my friends, everyone did 5, but let's just say 4 years. And I assume you're gonna need a couple of years to gain experience before you get that good income. So let's just say you're 30 years old, you're making $200,000 a year, and you have $650,000 in debt. You enjoy your profession. Do you think it was worth it?
You enjoy your profession and you like what you're doing, yeah. Because you're not really going to think about the big loan you have. You're going to be going to work. Obviously, you have to pay your bills, and that's just part of life. And it's an investment to something that you wanted to do. But I feel like if you hate what you're doing, you're unhappy, and then on top of that you have the debt, it is going to be painful.
It could be worth it, but my thing is there's so many scholarships and programs that give you free money, and I know because I got a program that would give me money. There's a bunch of scholarships that people could apply to, and I feel like if she would have done that, she wouldn't have that much debt. But I guess it could be worth it, but also be smart with your school. Like, the school has a lot of money. Instead of getting a whole bunch of loans on one day, look into scholarships and try to apply to them. Use the internet to do your essays if you're not good at essays.
I find it hard to justify that tower of debt.
Well, I don't know why they have you said 600,000?
650,000.
650,000. I feel like that's a lot of loans. I feel like maybe 100K is more reasonable.
Like 200-300 for dentists, I think is better.
Oh.
Yeah. And she probably did out of state too. Mm-hmm. So usually for undergrad, that's a lot more. But then 650 is a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
So then the problem is the schools you are all selecting and trying to live maybe a lifestyle that you can't afford.
You're not being smart and looking at resources that the school gives you with scholarships.
Other factors, it's not just black and white of applying to scholarships or not, because sometimes you don't qualify, like white people, for example. There's a lot of one of my friends was saying that there's a lot of Latino-oriented scholarships for the medical field, but there's none for the ghost immigrants, people who are from the Middle East. There's a lot of factors that go. It's not just, it's your fault you need to get scholarships. It's because of the lack of inexperience and being first generation and not knowing what information or resources to look for. And, thankfully you also have relatives who have gone through the process. So you shouldn't be having to make those same mistakes that your siblings did.
As soon as you graduated high school, if you're 18 years old, and then you start working, right? And the sooner you start working, the better, because you can technically work at 14 or 15, 16. And a month, you just dedicate $300 a month to DCA into the market, something that historically gives a 10% increase, like the S&P 500, or even like if you just do a retirement account like a Roth. $300 a month. By the time you're 40 years, if you do that for 20 years, you would be substantially wealthy compared to someone who went to school, got a high degree, and then has that ridiculous amount of debt. And if you extend that for 10 more years, so by the time you're 50, I find it hard to believe that any one of those professions would give a higher ROI in terms of the work that you put in. And it's just $300 a month. I think that in my opinion, so far from what I have seen, what I've experienced, I listened to a lot of the conversations because I have a lot of friends that did go to school and they do have those degrees and they have a high paying job. Like even the ones that went to medical school, it takes them a long time to be able to get to that 6-figure range. And I still find it difficult. We need people like that to get those type of jobs, but I think it takes a long time for you to get to a financially stable situation if you do not come from wealth. How would you guys feel if your spouse walks into your life, perfect individual, and then once you start talking about finances, 500K debt because irresponsibilities, purchases, credit cards, or just student loans?
If a future spouse has a lot of debt, like we're talking about 500K,
Depends.
I would have to ask why they have that debt. Obviously, if they were going to medical school and doing things, or becoming a lawyer, and I would want a breakdown of why it went to those numbers. I would rather them not have it, but I know that the reality, especially nowadays, especially if you live in a city that is expensive, I feel like it's more likely that they are going to have some kind of debt. And I would prefer it to be under 100K. It just depends on what it is.
I'd be mad, but I think I would know. I would have to know before we got married.
Do you think that's a reason for you not to get married?
Depends on his profession. Like if he's working for something big that's gonna give him income later on to pay off those loans.
So he's a doctor and he has $500,000 in debt.
He's already cutting up people. Okay, I'm just kidding.
As long as he has a goal to get rid of it and he's working towards changing that.
What if it's a responsible debt? Like he just bought a bunch of stuff, traveled a lot.
I would not like that because
Like he was unable to delay gratification.
it just becomes a little concerning because essentially the goal is if you are starting a family, you have to be able to have money for these expenses and plan for that future of your family.
Yeah, financial stress could really bring a huge strain in relationships for sure. I think what I would look for mainly is what actions is she taking to get out of debt?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like if she's not actively making decisions to change the bad behavior, or if she's not willing to embark on a journey where it requires her to just put her head down and just work and just to get rid of the debt, I think that turns into a problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking to be someone's like scapegoat, and even though like I imagine the older I get, the more insignificant certain amounts are, and it's a big blessing to be able to say that. If it's a crippling debt, like in the healthy 6 figures, I would definitely encourage her, or I would only stay with her if she herself is able to work towards paying it off. So for example, I'll cover all the expenses and 100% of your check goes to your debt, even if I have access to the money, because I think accountability is something that's big. And if you just walk into somebody's life and just bail them out, I think it encourages bad behavior, especially if the debt was irresponsible debt, like travel and vehicles and credit cards. School loans is more acceptable or more understanding because all of us sign up for school loans at an age where we just don't know better, right? And if we don't have siblings or parents that understand the system well, it's easy to make those decisions, those decisions to get those loans. So I understand that, and ideally, I personally don't think I would attract a high student loan woman, because those tend to be career-oriented individuals. And ideally, like something that I don't really aspire to marry. If for whatever reason it happens, high student loan debt is often correlated with a higher level education that gives you a higher income. So I don't think it would be too much of a problem. Let us know down in the comment section, do you think going to school, getting in debt is worth it? How would you feel if your partner walks into your marriage with mountains of debt?
Real quick, this week Taylor Swift went on the New Heights podcast with Travis, Kelsey, and Jason. There she announced her new upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl. Fans were going crazy. The video was premiered on August 13. 13 is her favorite number. And the video has accumulated right now on YouTube more than 17 million views already. And it's barely going to be a week, this upcoming week. But allegedly, fans were quickly speculating that she was dropping Easter eggs or clues about her future projects. And one of those was that she was potentially going to be performing at the halftime for the Super Bowl. Do y'all think that that's something y'all want to see? Do you care?
With Taylor Swift performing?
Yeah, the halftime Super Bowl. The reason they were saying is because she mentioned the number 47 twice. And then she thanked Jason for screaming for 47 seconds. And 47 is important because fans are saying her 47th show was in Santa Clara, California, at the Levi's Stadium. And that's where the next Super Bowl will be held in 2026. Another clue is that the mascot for the 49ers, which is going to be a team that's going to be playing the Super Bowl, Sourdough Sam. And she spent a chunk of the podcast talking about sourdough and how she loves baking. And that's like a new habit that she likes to do. Or she also said that she thinks about sourdough 60% of the time. And that's possibly referring to the upcoming 60th Super Bowl. So I do think that she does drop a lot of hints usually about the upcoming projects that she does have. She's never been in a podcast. This is her first podcast. And it is by 2 professional football players who interviewed her. And
Taylor, right?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. And then
Taylor
also
should be in our podcast.
Taylor, if you hear this, come join us for some
I
guac
think-
and chippies and tacos.
I think she's such a mega star.
Yeah.
I find it hard. She's never done the Super Bowl halftime.
No, she hasn't, because she wanted to be able to own all her records and all her rights before ever performing. And so now she finally did that. She bought them. Scooter Braun doesn't own them anymore. She owns everything that she's ever done, and they belong with her.
That's cool. I would love to see her perform.
I think she would be really good at performing because she already puts a show, whether you like her or not. She does have the power to do so. I mean, that podcast just got more than 17 million views already.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a smart play too by the NFL because she attracts a lot of attention.
yeah, and she already kind of teased that, like, this whole year or past year, last year, going to the games, dating the football player. And then another hint was the color orange. Her album is like orange and teal. And if you mix, I forget what colors of the Super Bowl, if you mix them, I think it's red and yellow, it makes orange. So people are saying that she's definitely going to be in it. Who knows? Would you be looking forward to seeing her?
Yeah, I like when she wears her sparkly shoes. But yeah, I'm excited. I like to watch it. The real question is, are you buying us tickets, brother?
Absolutely. I would love to see Taylor perform. I think that would be cool.
Fake. Just kidding.
No, like,
it's really cool how they.
and she needs to bring out Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
Huh?
That'd be dope.
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'd be interesting though, because she has collaborated with.
Cool that they give out hints. Would you guys do that whenever we get big?
It'd be nice. Playful.
I feel like it's a great way to make sure the audience is engaging,
Yeah.
and also it kind of takes away that itch of you wanting to share news, right? So like you don't actually share the real news, but you just do like little drop hints. So it kind of satisfies your brain of you sharing the news, but you don't actually do it.
Yeah, and the Swifties are really good at analyzing, and
Yeah,
they know every detail. I mean, I saw the podcast, and her saying he screamed for 47 seconds, it went over my head. And then also like 49ers, if you add 4 and 9, it equals 13.
Oh wow.
Her favorite
Oh
number.
my god.
And then if you add 47 plus 13,
That's doing too much.
if you add 47 plus 13, it equals 60, and that's the 60th Super Bowl.
All right, I have a question for you.
And lastly, 2026 will be Travis' 13th NFL season.
Are you a Swiftie?
I think I am, but I'm not as devoted as majority of the Swifties are. I'm not as intense. Like this information I wouldn't have gotten on just me myself.
I don't go out of my way to listen to her music and engage with her content. Like that whole pop scene to me, like it's never been a preference. But every time like you guys are playing Taylor Swift or I hear a specific song, I'm like,
Yeah.
she's a good artist. It's pleasing for me to listen.
Yeah, I don't listen to her songs all the time, but when I was younger, Joselyn would put them, so I already know some by memory.
Yeah, if someone's a Swiftie, it's definitely Jocelyn.
Yeah. But I like her voice is nice. She knows how to write, I guess, if she's writing these songs. Because I don't know if they work with other people to write these songs, but she's good at it.
Yeah, her collabs with Ed Sheeran, I like those songs.
Yeah, I think she's an overall good performer. She knows how to put on a show.
I'm excited because Michael's buying us tickets.
You heard it here first. He said he's gonna take us to the Super Bowl, guys.
1 million likes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the 14th episode of Stalking.
Chippies.
Imagine this was a 13th episode.
It was last time. I know.
It would have been adding on to the conspiracy. Taylor is for sure not.